Robert Sims is a banker turned inventor who is a professional father. He has a boatload of kids, and he wants to protect them, and yours too, through roller coaster-like design. Well, stay tuned, and you'll understand why shortly. Meet my friend, Robert Sims. So you were wondering, I would imagine, Robert, when you thought of vault, is it really a vault? And you're in the banking industry.
Yes, yeah.
Have you ever seen a vault like this?
No, I can't. and I got to tell you, I've got this, I was listening to your last podcast, and I do have like this nervous energy about being in the vault.
Okay,
I feel like good things are going to happen, but I'm going to learn things about my soul that I didn't even know.
That's what we're going for, man.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm signed up, man. Let's go.
And it's so appreciate you being here, right? It's being able to take time out and hit an operational pause button on our lives and really kind of, right?
I got to tell you, man, I'm one of the only people on the planet who loves going to the dentist for that very reason, because no one can touch me for a minute. Because I've got 10 kids, I've got a wonderful job with 131 employees, and I care about every one of them, and then I've got this little side gig I'm doing, and that keeps me up at night. And so to be right here and to not.
So we should just tell Jordan, lock the door.
That'd be
We're
awesome.
done for the day.
Oh my
gosh.
This
is a long form narrative. We're doing it.
Okay. I'm gonna take it down a couple notches, man.
I love it. Okay. So we've got plenty of water for you, and we know you're a communicator. Okay.
Oh.
And we also know you're a thinker. But our people, right? Folks who listen to this, and it's a syndicated podcast, right? It's not just serving, although it does serve Berkshires and Berkshire Innovation Center. It goes beyond that ecosystem, statewide, nationally, and internationally. Okay. So I'm interested in individual life work narrative, the discernment process, and helping individuals be able to express it, but by a little bit of a generative dialogue guided by some research that helps me touch places and points that might appear as treasures in the vault, so that there's more sense making for you, maybe as a byproduct, as well as for those who are listening, who are trying to figure out their career, their life, decision points, competencies, mental muscles, motivations. Do I take this job? Do I go on this entrepreneurial journey? So it's a learning moment for many, right? That will be the takeaway. So in the spirit of that, who are you?
Wow.
Like, who are you? Like, for people listening, like, what do you do? So you mentioned 131 employees.
Yeah.
And you have this side thing that keeps you up at night. And you just kind of sprinkle in, I have 10 kids.
Yeah.
Been married for about 38 years. You
30,
said,
very much in love.
Pre-show, you said you met the redhead, had 10 kids. 30, yeah, I got it. Right? Just throw it in there. Met the redhead, right?
Yeah.
The catalyst to 10 children.
Changed my life, yeah, man.
So let's get to who you are work-wise, what your job is, what the side gig is, and then we'll go on a little bit of a mental journey, take a flight back in time and kind of do some tracing.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. So who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm a dad, so I've got 10 awesome kids. I'm a spouse to a beautiful girl who I love with my whole heart.
You're a dad.
I'm a dad.
You're a lover of one woman.
I am.
Right? You have a job, a day job.
Got a day job.
Okay. Yeah. And in the day job, what do you do in the day job?
I
work for a bank?
Yeah, no, I work for Greylock Federal Credit Union.
Right. Okay.
I've worked for big banks. I just came from one and helped them, played a little small part, and helped them grow from 25 billion to 34 billion, working on acquisitions.
Now, is that because you like money, or you like growth, or you like the outcome that gets posted when people trust the bank?
I love people, man. And I don't know. I mean, this is.
You also have this invention as of late, which is not your first, but you want to tell us about your invention this car seat, roller coaster looking car seat.
Yeah, it's really
Just
funny.
makes so much sense when I saw it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe somebody hadn't done something like this.
Well, it's so funny you should say that, and I don't know if it was the Emmys or somewhere, and someone was getting a Emmy for their music. They said, "Wow, best new band," and he said, "Well, we've actually been a band for like 12 years." And so when you say, of late, it was probably around 2008 when, I'm buckling kids in.
So that's when that was the inception.
That was when I came up with the concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
so thanks for that correction that it wasn't of late. It was a dozen more than years, 15, 16, 17 years in the making.
17 years in the making, man. And
so describe this thing. So that people understand. What is it? It's a car seat.
It's a car seat. I call it the chrysalis. So
the chrysalis, okay.
Yeah,
got it.
Chrysalis, like what a butterfly or a caterpillar goes in, they come out a butterfly.
Okay,
right.
Okay. That doesn't really happen with your car seat, but this is just
it does.
Okay.
It actually does.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
No, the tagline is, "What will they become? What will they be? Let's protect them until they get there."
Oh, yeah, man.
So,
I love that.
Yeah. No. Well, do you?
So let's get to the car seat.
Car seat, dude. So do you have
people
kids?
still have no idea what you're talking about, right?
No idea.
So, no, they say the guy got a good slogan, and then he works at a bank, and he likes people, and so we're going to go back to you have a car seat, 17 years in the making. What does it look like?
It looks like a comfortable roller coaster seat. So it's a bar that comes down because while I'm making eye contact with you around the world, there are thousands of kids of all sizes, upside down, going 50, 60 miles an hour in the exact same design. And you said it, Dennis, that Dr. Dennis, what do you want me to call you?
You can roll
man?
either way, man.
Okay.
Whatever feels good
man, you
for
feel
you.
like a friend. I'm going to call you Dennis. Okay.
Yeah.
And,
do that. Then.
Yeah. Okay. So, and, it's something that's a proven concept. No one's applied it to car seats. And think about when they hand you a child, and for me, I'd never been around kids. So it felt like somebody picked up the whole world, like with Atlas, and put my son in my hands. The responsibility, one of the things I take joy in is helping their dreams come true. They've done incredible things around the world, and you want to protect them. And then you put them in the very thing that's supposed to protect them, a car seat. And as you're buckling it, it pinches them, and it's painful. And they never, it's game.
It does do that. It does do that.
It's game over. They never want to be in it again.
Yeah.
You put them in their high chair, you buckle them in, you turn, you're cutting up some food. You turn around, they're standing on the tray because they got out. And so what this is, it's one click. It's a roller coaster bar.
It drops over a little bit like you're in a ski situation, but not really, right? Because you're in a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
And you just decided to take this idea, right? It was like ideation, sort of like visualization, and then just create a prototype, right? And the prototype took a little bit.
Yeah. The prototype. Actually, it's really cool. From hearing your podcast, I know you love the Berkshires, Dennis.
I do. I deliberately moved here,
Oh, man. And I love them too. Let me tell you, the Berkshires did for me. Okay. So I developed this. I got patent pending in 2012. I got full patent 2015. Any of your listeners have been part of the patent journey, they can identify with this, particularly if they're 100% self-funded like I've been, working a day job and then doing it and engaging with engineers. So I had a back and forth with one of the world's leading car seat manufacturers at that time. 8 weeks back and forth with their engineers. What about this problem? Oh, here's the answer. Okay, back and forth. Finally, they were like,
you just started calling, emailing.
I called one company that was the design firm for a large car seat manufacturer.
Okay, got it. All right, it's helpful.
And I looked for one that created jobs here because I grew up driving a truck. My dad died when I was 19. I took over the business. And I delivered cotton in the Carolinas.
Okay.
All those factories closed and they went overseas. And I saw how that decimated a community. And when I came to this community, the credit union that I work for did a study. And there's a section at Pittsfield where life expectancy is 9.5 years shorter. And that's in part because all these jobs got pulled out, manufacturing jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
so you understood the community impact both through your lived experiences and also the study kind of amplified it in your new home, the Berkshires.
100%.
Okay.
So now I'm in the Berkshires. I'm coming here because I've worked for the big banks. I've consulted for them. And quite frankly, I've helped other people make a tremendous amount of money and grow their institutions. This was a not-for-profit credit union, and it was near my grandkids. They were living in Middletown, New York. And just out of the blue, I called an old friend, because I do that when I get in the car. You know, I lost a friend to cancer at 23, and I never want anyone I know to be hurting, and I don't know about it. Called him, just one of the thousands of calls I made. I pray every time I get in the car, who do you want me to call? This guy said, hey, we got an opening here. You'd have to compete. It's a national search. But I thought, man, maybe this is just the dial it back kind of thing I'm looking for. I come rolling into town. First time I've ever been in Pittsfield was after I accepted this job.
And what year was this?
This was 2022.
Okay.
I'm closing. So the car seat and Berkshires, and what's the connection? And here it comes.
Yeah.
So remember that conversation with Graco was 2015. Actually, it's probably earlier than that. It's probably 2012. Okay. They were about to buy, and then they said the cantilever effect of a 35-pound child on this bar is going to bend the bar. I said, what are you using? Well, the same plastics we inject into the seed, just like, that bendable plastic. Yeah. I'm like, man, is a kid's life? I'm thought to myself, is a kid's life not worth $1.54 for a little stronger materials? And after that, I hung up my cleats because I thought, well, I guess it'll never happen. So fast forward to 2022, I roll into the Berkshires, closing on my home loan. I don't know what prompted it, but I just brought up, hey, got this car seat thing. And I told him the whole cantilever effect. He said, do you know you just moved to a town where there used to be 10 plastic mold injection firms, all supporting GE.
Yeah, that's right.
GE pulled out. I think he said there's only a few left. And that's what we do. And I know one, this high tensile strength plastic, it's in medical instruments. It's 30,000 feet above the ground in Boeing jets. And they can build your car seat here, but we need a prototype. So that's how we got to know each other. Dennis I came rolling into Berkshire Innovation Center.
Amazing.
They helped me build a first prototype. Yeah. And then I invested.
Sean was
oh, dude, man, Sean O'Neill.
Yeah,
man. First it was Tim over there that I talked to.
Tim was your lead guy in.
When I first walked in, do you
Tim
think
Butterworth.
this will go anywhere?
Right. Yeah.
And
amazing support function, amazing mind, amazing energy to get lost in a project. Both of them, Tim especially, and then of course Sean's like a dog with a bone.
100%, man.
And he's in love with that bone.
Oh, yes, he
Until
is.
that bone is devoured.
Oh my gosh. It's like he could, it's like you're doing right now, which again, I'm going to tell you, I'm less nervous than I was, but the way you can get in my head, he got in my head, he saw it and he built it. I mean, and did a beautiful job. So, but my dream.
So you became a member of the Berkshire Innovation Center and did the rapid prototyping and leveraged sort of like, we'll call it really a hyper localized supply chain / plastics companies support to then do what others didn't want to invest in for an extra $1.54.
Yeah, now that's my number.
I'm kidding.
I'm being,
with you, right? I'm just making sure you know
hyperbole.
I'm listening to
thank you.
Recalling, man.
Man, this is scary.
So that's where you are today. That was who are you? Now we're going to go back to you're a kid. As a kid, what was it like for you?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Wow.
What were you doing? Like, how did you play?
Yeah.
How did you play?
Yeah.
It's funny, right? Like, How did you play? Like, oh, I don't know. How did I play?
No. I
Like, what
remember
would
how
we
I played.
see?
I'm
What would you
just.
do? We were
I'm
talking
trying to
about-
put this for public consumption for your show here, Dennis. I guess.
Yeah. We don't want to know all the things you did, man.
No.
We just Robert. Now keep some of this
I don't know.
stuff.
It's the vault, man. I forget there's a microphone,
yeah,
in here, and I'm like
PG-13.
Your PhD is showing, man. I was ready to like go full therapist. Like,
well, if it feels good, go with it, right? That's the deal.
It does.
So what'd you do for play as a kid? Because you were in the Carolinas,
yeah,
right?
Man. No. I was in Tennessee. My dad invented this business, Package Express, and it covered. He was kind of. I come by innovation naturally, and but no, we were in Tennessee, outside of Memphis. Yeah, man, I was like a typical kid. In the winter when we had rare snow, I loved having snowball fights and sledding and that type of thing.
So you were outside of Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, little town called
From
Bartlett.
the time you were born to about
39. Thought I'd spend my whole life. Developed a product back then.
So what did you do as a kid for play? We're going to go back to the question.
Yeah, I love playing football.
See how you
in the
go,
neighborhood.
you take off. You're like a Ferrari. You know what I mean, man? Come on. Or a Chevy Super Sport with a blower in it, an Eaton blower, in fact.
Careful.
So let's go to your kid. How do you play?
Dude, man, I want to come back to how you know about engines. I want to flip the mic.
Come on, you can't flip. That's your return visit. We're going to pull straws from flipping the mic. So your kid, you're playing. There's your dad's exploring, creating a network of Package Express.
Yeah, for the cotton industry.
Right, for the cotton industry.
Yeah.
So it's delivery, right? Company.
Yeah, Package Express.
So box trucks.
Dude, man, I want to get back to play if you don't mind. You got me.
What do you want? Yeah, let's go to play.
Yeah. So
I was waiting for you to catch that, right?
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. No. I'm trying. You're trying to tame the tiger, man.
Man, I'm not taming that tiger. I'm just pushing that tiger into different areas of the room, man.
All right, but I'm trying to like low key it a little bit.
Okay, low key.
De-escalate.
I appreciate
and actually answer your questions.
Wow, look at this. Here we go. Welcome to your podcast, right here, man.
All right. Man. All right.
So how did you play?
Oh man, loved riding bikes. We'd build ramps. Loved jumping those. Almost killed myself on one or two
of those. Were you a BMX kid? Or?
Yeah, I had like one of the first BMX bikes made by Yamaha. Wow. Actually, it was like one of the first ones.
Wow.
And, so, tried
So not bicycle motocross.
Yeah, well, no. I didn't compete in it, man. We went out in the woods. We built stuff. That probably wouldn't have been allowed on.
Yeah, so you're like a sort of a rogue BMXer.
Yeah, I guess that's a good term, but it was before BMX. Same thing, skateboarding.
What years? What years was this?
Dude, man, I am 60 years old.
Wow,
I'm probably looking at me like, what's holding this guy
I was
together?
Thinking 48, man.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 50 on the stretch.
I've got another 40 years in me.
Yeah, man, you've got some juice in you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say you played with bikes, right?
Skateboards.
So take me slowly into what would I see in the woods, you and your friends doing? What would you just like slow play it so I can visualize it? Help me out. So like you're like, hey man, like come check out this freeze frame. Look what we're doing. What am I seeing?
So you are on the top of a pumping station because in Memphis, there's not a lot of hills. There's some.
Okay.
But there's this water pumping station. So it's enormous hill, steep drop on the side, almost like a cliff. So you're going to see a grassy hillside, and you're going to see a moppy-haired kid with his yellow BMX bike at the top of this thing. Yeah, with some of the older guys. And there's this long, thin brown stripe going through the grass of where we've gone on this hill. And it's probably, man, right now in my mind, it looks 300 yards. Yeah. It probably was 100 yards. Yeah. And you're going to see a big dead stump going over a dry creek bed.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to see a narrow board leaned up against said
little
3.5
little
foot.
Flex in it, little flex. Or did you put rocks underneath the flex?
I didn't really think that much into it, man. It was whatever board we could find.
You just slapped it down.
I think they were pretty stiff, you know.
All right,
and but you know what? You may diagnose what happened next actually by telling me about the board. We didn't think that far. Hey, man, when I said a rolling train wreck, thank you. So now that's why that almost killed me. Yeah, no,
so
man.
You hit the board.
Oh,
did you go off the ramp or did you?
Oh, I went way off the ramp over a dry creek bed too. Right. And
which is jaggedy on the other side too. Because
there's roots. Plenty of things that'll kill you. It's awesome. So anyway, I am. Then you would see me hit this thing. And I'm going so fast, I can't even pedal anymore. It's like screaming down the side
So
of
you're
the
not
cell.
balanced on the pedals.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. It's like
Yeah.
I'm hanging on for dear life. I'm just straight up honest with you. And then I hit this. I don't know. I wonder if these older kids are like, how many ways can we try to kill Robert and he won't die? You know?
And they just thought that they should put you at the top of the list of who goes next.
Yeah, exactly.
Robert will do it. It's like the cereal. Remember, Mikey will eat it.
Yeah, no, Dennis. I don't even remember them doing it.
You
actually,
just did
it wasn't like who goes next. And so,
so you were going next.
I was going.
You were going.
Yeah, and so I'm flying at this thing. Then you're going to see a much younger version of me hitting this thing, going way airborne, and then I lose the bike. It's gone.
So
man.
You're not holding onto the bars.
Oh, I don't even know where the bike is anymore. It's like I've come off of it. I'm sailing. I land on the other side of this dry creek bed. Boom, like I've been dropped out of a plane. And then I thought, oh, where's the bike? And then the bike just slams on the ground next to me. I thought, oh, there's my bike.
And your first lesson in physics, right?
Right. One of the many, you know.
So when we look at that from a psychology standpoint, we think that person has out of balance exploration, right?
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Wow. Being the vault is crazy, man.
Right.
You know, I had never thought about that.
I'm going forward. And there's ambiguity and unknowing. And despite that, I still go. And you can feel it sometimes somatically where people will report. They just feel this urge, right? This energy to move forward. And it could be self-leadership with exploration, which is that archetype is called a pioneer quester. And so you're going into uncharted territory, i.e. the jumping over the creek with this board, narrow, with this bike, this sort of limited production. Don't know if they made that many of them. When I was a kid, I raced Diamondbacks and Hutches back in the day, right?
Oh my gosh. That's a great bike.
But they were great. I still enjoy a bike ride. But what we tend to see, right, over time is that those younger immediate recall experiences can help inform us how we orient to the world, right? Right? Like how you show up, how you're likely to show up. Now, it's not every time, right, that you show up that way, but in certain like fields of play, if you will, you're likely to show up in a particular way, right? And it's kind of fun to catch sight of that and say, hey, not one or two children, 10, right? Not I'm done with banking, I'm going to semi-retire banking and help another bank because of the people, right? Like there's a surging forwardness to you, even in the way you're communicative, right? We'll call it proactivity, right? As opposed to reactivity. And reactivity isn't bad in North America and Northeast in particular. We tend to, but in North America, if something's reactive, it's bad. Reactive just means there's a restraint on the competency or the mental muscle or the behavior, right? Like I'm reacting to a stimulant, right? If you were like always discerning things that you saw or analyzing them proactively, you'd be a pain in the neck, right? Because you would just be analyzing everything, like the way something's built, the way something is plated at a restaurant, how somebody makes a coffee for you at the coffee shop at Mass Mocha, right? That would be really a pain in the neck. So you might have some restraint on that. And then when somebody asks you for a review, you exhibit your analysis and sort of report and critique. So reactive and proactive competencies, there's a distinction there. It's important. But it seems like, of course, this is early on in our conversation, that you have a tendency to be on the proactive side, that you come in sort of energized to do, to think, to communicate, but really to explore and to put yourself in positions. Has that been something first of all, is that true, or is that just an isolated incident of you jumping over a dried up creek bed?
No, it's not. Wow. Dennis, before we started this program, you talked about that your hope, your goal, for this program, was to maybe help me unpack myself a little bit and looking into the future. And you've just done that. That's actually revelatory for me because, I would put it in a different context, but I think you may have rightly sized it or diagnosed it. The context I would put it in is there's a passage in Scripture, and it talks about the watchman on the wall. And it says, if you're watching and you see enemy coming
Mm-hmm.
and you tell everyone, you do something about it,
Yeah.
then, and whether they react or not, you're not responsible. You've tried to do something.
You've done your part.
Right.
That's right.
But if you don't take action, then bad things are going to happen. And so I would agree with you. I think in that context, despite my recreational habits to do things that are a little edgy,
Yeah.
but no, I just feel a responsibility when I see something.
You
And
go.
Well, and that's what, what's so funny.
Okay.
My boss at work is somebody I've known for years.
Okay.
And he made that statement. My wife has made that statement that if you see something, you go to it. If you see a need.
There's another method, right? It's sit back, simmer, analyze, organize, think about it again, right? Maybe poke at it, not just immerse, right? Not just go into ambiguity, right? And I like the way you just use the word the edge, right? There is an edge. And that's what like when you are a pioneer quester sort of archetype, right, or character, it tends to be that you go to the edge of things, right? And then you go beyond that edge, right? Now, not in a dangerous way.
Well, sometimes. No, I've done some dangerous stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Such as?
Well, I'll give you an example. So,
please.
Yeah, no, I'd consulted for another bank and helped them grow. And then I was on to my next gig.
In what capacity did you consult the bank?
So I've consulted a lot of banks and financial institutions in marketing, consulting, or growing sales, or acquisitions.
Okay.
It's
so you're not doing risk modeling. You're in the people side.
No, well, also finance is my background.
Okay.
So building a business case. No, that heavy into the financials to help. Like you're unpacking me, I help them unpack what their goals are and be able to put a balance sheet and income statement to it. So there is some good analytics. I'm going to look at the market. I'm going to help them grow. But along with that skill set that I've developed, I started my own business consulting for a while. And the dangerous thing to answer that question was a friend called and said, hey, there's this great group. I don't even mind mentioning their name, Shortcat Plus. They're out of Chicago.
Okay.
They're a foundation that helps with microfinance lending. If you're familiar with that, you're smiling a warm smile as you should, because you got a Nobel Prize, this concept for being the most effective method to help the world's poorest of the poor. So in your context of seeing a need and going to it, even if sometimes this edge you're talking about, dangerous or whatever. So I get this call from Lynn Pickholtz. She endorsed me on LinkedIn, so she mind me quoting her here, she said, hey, I've got this project. It's on the island of Mindanao in the Philippines. And we want to know if you'd be interested in helping this bank that does microfinance lending. They've helped pull people out of poverty. And now they're successful.
Sounds like a humanitarian initiative at first glance, anyway.
Dude, I had so wanted to work and support microfinance lending. So her call was like a gift. This friend.
So did you rush in?
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, I did.
Okay.
And then after I said yes, I hung up. We talked about price. I said, look, man, I'd really love to help you. And so, we agreed on something. Hang up. 90 seconds later, the phone rings. And I pick it up, and it's Lynn again. She goes, hey, Robert, this is, Lynn again. I'm thinking, yeah, I know. I just talked to you. She said, listen, did you look at the State Department warnings on where we're sending you? And I'm like, well, no, Lynn, actually, I didn't. And she said, well, maybe you want to look at that. And hey, look, if, it's not as, and she started to say it's not as bad. And then she stopped herself like, no, it is pretty bad where we're sending you. I could tell that middle kind of thing. She said, just take a look. And if you want to back out of our agreement, I understand completely. So I'm like, okay, Lynn. And it took me like, how long do you think it took to jump on the State Department's website? Like,
you were on it before she was off the phone.
Oh, exactly, man. I'm like curious now.
So
it said warning, and this was 2011. Do not go to the Philippines, particularly the island of Mindanao.
Do you think it's part of your essence that you're more humanitarian and socially driven in the way you care for others?
Well, unpack that for me. Define what you mean by that.
Well, when someone's receptive, they're open and they can feel. So receptivity is sensing, right? And so a humanitarian, socially driven leader would leverage the collection of what they're sensing about context, about right, being empathetic, brings it into their being, and then leads it. It informs them to then know where to be directional, because all leadership is influence and all influence is leadership. So when you're being influential or in flow, my friend Marshall would say, right, you're being directional toward an end, but when it's informed, you can be an agent for others to then be humanitarian and socially driven, because that context informs the directionality of your movement, whether you're, influencing resources, a group of people, a bank, mission driven something that you're working on with a community-based organization. So that's what I mean by humanitarian.
Wow, that's a good way to break it down, because in this case,
it's very technical. It tends to be technical.
No, and that's not my field, so that's why I asked you to pack it. So I will say yes, empathy. So in that moment, I pictured, women and children in that environment, and I pictured the poverty that was going on as a direct result of the crime. And I could see them. And when I got there, I actually got to see one of the people that I could visualize before I got there.
Spoiler alert, he went.
I went. Yeah. And
not surprising.
And I did not tell my wife for 3 years anything that I just told you about the journey.
3 years.
Yeah. I waited 3 years till I knew that
it was safe. Yeah. It was safe.
For
you.
This girl is an angel, man.
Yeah, clearly.
There's no
convincing needed at this point. At this point in the episode, we all believe. You said you're a believer. Saint. We're believers. We're believers that she's a saint. Okay?
Oh, dude, man.
Yeah, listen.
If you only know. So, no, I wasn't worried about her getting mad. I just don't want a warrior.
Yeah, you want a warrior. Okay. And that's, by the way, that's empathy too, right?
Oh my gosh.
The same empathy that informed you to go is the same empathy that allowed you to cabin off whether or not you're going to express. And you're a proactive communicator, right? So you decide. So empathy is also, sounds like it's a strong mental muscle of yours.
Huh. Yeah. It's so funny. Whoa, man. Okay. This is legit what you said about the vault in this conversation. Dennis, you brought back words my mom told me when I was a child, and it brings tears to my eyes because, it's anniversary of her death was February 13th, 5 years. When I was a boy, Dennis, she told me life is going to be hard for you because you feel other people's pain. And in that moment, it's like I could feel what was going on over there. And I'm like, I'm going.
So you went down to that area and you would stay there not for a day. How long did you go down?
10 days.
You'd go 10 days and then you'd come back.
Yeah.
Then you'd go down for how many days again?
Oh, no, it was one project. Went in, I helped them get $3.5 million of capital to fund their operations. If I could help them.
10 days, all in.
All in.
Where'd you sleep?
This is one of the things that made me feel really good about being there was getting to see the circumstances people were in. Where I slept was a really nice hotel. But when I landed, man, so where I slept was great. It was a hotel, it was nice. But outside the hotel were guards with Glocks. And then at the same hotel outside of them was Philippine Regular Army with machine guns and with mirrors checking underneath the cars for roadside, for bombs underneath the car. It was hyper dangerous. But you know what? I fell in love with the people there, Dennis. And before it was done, I was going for walks at night on the streets, and
you stuck out a little bit.
Oh yeah, I was the only person of European heritage out of thousands of people.
You're very light skinned.
Yeah.
Right.
Somewhat. Well, dude, man, I got a little sun.
Listen,
I went to Florida a few weeks ago. Hey, man, we're going to have to compare with this thing's done.
It's not even close. I'm Portuguese and not even close.
Okay.
Not even
close.
Man,
it was a little. Yeah, anyway.
Not even close.
All right,
bro. Not even close.
Got a little Native American heritage.
But you do. Oh, you do? Okay.
I've been told. I don't know. I'll have to go check it out.
There are tests for this.
Yeah.
So the test for you then was, it seems like it was a bit of a vocational calling to go down there.
It was more than that. I didn't have to take this contract. There is a vocational aspect. This is what I do. I could help them. They needed me.
Yeah, but you could have done other gigs.
I could have done and did do other gigs.
Yeah, but you could have done other gigs as opposed to that one.
Oh, heck yeah.
Was this that exploration tugging at you? Or was it the empathy, or was it both?
It was empathy, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to risk my life
to
go have fun, because that'd be foolish.
Okay.
Because, for instance...
So you do pause a little bit.
Oh, heck yeah. I've wanted a motorcycle since I had one when I was a kid. I rode that thing with the full throttle. That was the other thing about childhood. Yeah, I remember going airborne over every hill I would go over. But when I married the redhead... She's like, yeah, man, no motorcycles.
Okay.
And
I was going to ask you if it was a half throttle rule, but it was a no throttle rule.
No, it was all the way as far as that.
No. When you married the redhead, did it turn half throttle or did it go no throttle?
I don't know.
Did you give up the bike?
I did.
That's called no throttle. Pay attention. Pay attention. She gave you a lesson, my man.
She kept me alive.
All right. She kept you alive. So you're a guy who likes to explore. And also create, and also create impact. I do. Right? Creativity is conjuring something anew. It's bringing something new. You do that through language, right? Helping people in training centers, right? For banks, right? Yeah. Maybe even helping folks who are leaders understand the mission or a new mission or principles and things of that nature.
Right. The why.
It can be art. It could be inventing the why, but the why itself could be captured through analysis because you can analyze the why. But if you invent a why, well, and then you bring it out. That's inventive, right? Or co-inventive. So problem solving is creative, and clearly the roller coaster seat, car seat, which is called the chrysalis.
No T.
It's chrysalis.
Chrysalis. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I love that. Okay. Is it going to be manufactured soon? What's the plan? People are wondering, they're probably going to...
Well, you know what's awesome? I am too. What
are you thinking? What's going to happen next?
Yeah, here's where I am right now. It's built, right? I have a prototype.
Yeah. You can see this in Massachusetts if you're in Massachusetts.
Yeah. So...
or they could go to your website, which we'll obviously make available in show notes.
Yeah, I don't have a website yet.
No,
I've been all in.
We'll give you a LinkedIn plug to your video. No problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, cool. You can see it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Where does it go from here? Here's the correlate I would give.
Okay.
I love helping people achieve their dreams. It's the reason I work. I love it for my employees, grow their kids, grow their careers. But for my kids, man, I start when they're little. Man, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? And we go on this big explorative journey of every career. If they want, some of them are like, yeah, I want to do this. They know how to help them get there. But there comes a point, and my 9th child is at this point now.
How old is your 9th child?
He's 17.
17, okay.
Yeah. And he's about...
In Vermont or Massachusetts? Over the line in Vermont?
He's in Mass where he lives with me. I live.
Cool.
And anyway, I live at a ski resort.
Yeah.
Here in the Berkshires, and I love it. Jiminy Peak,
right?
Oh, it's a dream, amazing. Man. They've made some magic there. But he just got a full scholarship to Norwich University. He wants to be a doctor, right?
Great.
But when I drive in there and I hand them over, when I took, my daughters and sons to college, when they got their first job, I knew I was handing my children over to someone who could take it farther than I could.
Yeah, who's that? Them?
Them is college. It can be anything.
No. Who's that? Them? The child.
Oh, any of them.
The child. The environment, yes, but the child's the driver. I'm not challenging you, but I'm kind of getting you to
please
rethink it.
Yeah.
You were giving that child to them, meaning the institute, but really you were giving it to them, the child.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, I'm helping them achieve.
Right.
Thank you. That's a good correction.
Yeah.
No. That's a beautiful correction.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if my son wants to be a doctor,
Yeah.
Go.
Go.
I'm not a doctor, but others are, and they can mentor and help him grow and give him the training, be there that I can't. So now I'm going to bring that back around to your question because I haven't forgotten it.
Yeah, good.
Where am I going with this? Here's what I would say to that. It's the same thing I said on the video. I'm just a dad, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just a guy, man. And that it's probably pretty hard to interview, so I'm sorry. Okay?
No, this is fun.
Right?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
I don't think you're difficult.
It's true, man.
I don't believe anything that the team sent over about your difficultness. I denied it. I said, there's no way. The guy smiles and laughs too much, man. He's too good.
Yeah, but I know my limitations, right?
Yeah.
And I know my limitations with this. I got a Business Week Best New Product of the Year for a product to help the working poor. I've developed lots of other products in the financial realm. Dennis, where I am with this product, I do have a plan, right? If like Dyson, if no manufacturer wants it, if they don't want to build it and 13 of them didn't, he started his vacuum cleaner line and he built it himself.
That's right.
So the plan is if nobody wants it,
you'll build it?
I'm going to build it.
My man.
But I need people to come.
Right.
Fist bump on
Come
that.
on, yeah, for
And
sure.
I want to create jobs here.
In the Berkshires?
I want to give everybody the month of December off, shut down the plant, let people be with their family, be with the people they love.
Man, let's do that. Let's help you do that.
Yeah, and then I want to give them the July 4th week off. Just have a good week in the summer. I want to pay them a
you're
great
jumping dry
wage.
creeks. You're already like down the pathway of developing. Not only, hey, I want everybody. By the way, if you're a car seat manufacturer, I want you to say no to this guy because if you do, it'll be a catalyst for you to build jobs in the Berkshires because you'll do this. How do you think company culture is going to be prioritized in this company? Because culture, by the way, doesn't normally take hold until over 26, 28, because the founder's personality, right, is usually what drives 7, 8, 12, 15. It's the personality of the founder. Culture is sometimes misused as a phrase, but culture has to do with like social norms, right? What do you do? Like, what's the whisper in your ear like that says, do this here, we do this here, not that. You'll get rewarded, you'll get punished for that. Culture is that sort of whisper, right, that takes over absent a founder or prime mover. So tell us what the culture would be like. You just jumped into it already, jumping creeks again, man. You said it. Here's what, forget about December. It's off. Go play with your kids. Have fun. Play with your family and friends. Play, do something recreationally. Nothing for 4th of July. Why? What is this culture going to look like? And why did you go there right out of the gate?
Wow. I think about well-being first, Dennis. And you've asked a question that I've not thought about yet with regards to the culture of the company. So I can only speak to the culture I've tried to foster. Yeah, I have 131 here. I've had 787 employees before, just running different organizations. So let's do the benchmark on me and what benchmark I have in creating culture. And that's when, if I run into someone, if you and I are working together, first we're working together. I couldn't imagine, I can't imagine anybody working for me. They're working for the people they love. They're working for themselves, right? So let's say we're working together. Let's call it that, okay? And let's say you're part of this company. That's a pretty exciting thought to me, Dennis. Now that I know
You're trying to
a little
recruit
bit.
me here. Come
Dude,
on,
man,
now.
I need a director of communications, CMO. Man, you pick your title. The culture would be if I ran into people who love Dennis, they'd say, man, he loves his job. And here's my serum bonum would be that you look forward to Monday.
Yeah.
It'd be a culture where we're saving lives. 3 kids a day die today in traffic fatalities.
Now that's a real national
highway traffic safety administration.
So
3 kids a day die.
3 children in the United States die per day due to traffic fatalities.
445 are injured.
Okay. A day?
A day. It's the leading cause of death, more than disease, more than war, is traffic fatalities. And so to have a culture where we know we're saving kids from injury, that you go home. I got a buddy, Mark. He's an awesome guy. He's a surgeon here.
Yeah.
Love the guy. I just feel privileged to even know this guy. And I bumped into him one day right after I moved here.
Yeah.
And it looked like he had like a little fishing pouch, like he'd been fishing, but it was just gear he was carrying. I said, wow, man, you going fishing today? Because we lived at Jiminy Peak together down the hall from me. And I don't think you'd mind me telling the story, Mark. But he said, yeah, no, man, I've been doing surgeries all day. And Dennis, I just thought, this guy's been saving lives all day long. How awesome that would feel all day long. That's what he does, saves lives. So I'd love a culture where people had a sense of knowing, wow, man, when they wrap that last thing around the seat and they get it and they imagine putting a child in there, it's like, wow, man, this is going to save a kid's life.
Yeah.
And they're going to feel good. They're going to be well compensated for it too. And I've said this before, man, I don't know if I can pull it off. Okay. But here's my goal. And this is going to sound crazy, but I don't mind jumping off cliffs and riding bikes down hills and,
Sold. I'm sold on all of those statements.
Well, dude, man. Well, here comes this. My goal is to pay as a minimum salary $106,500 a year. That's my objective. And give everyone December off and a week off in the summer.
And build a business model in reverse.
Okay, and I did. And you want to hear it?
Yeah.
It's a $9.3 billion a year revenue industry. So I'm about to build the business model for you. Ready?
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you how we can pay people a good salary.
Do it.
All right. So 9.3 billion a year for car seats, high chairs, strollers. Right?
Yeah.
So when Dyson... I'm not going to start with Dyson. I'm going to start with the guy I met. I think you pronounce his name Hyundai Utakaya. Okay. Upstate New York dude was cranking out Stony Brook Farm yogurt. I met the guy. And he's like, man, I've got this new idea. I think I want to create my own yogurt. We're talking an area, Philadelphia cream cheese plants have been closed. People have been out of work. He bought them, got them humming, started making Stony Brook Farm yogurt. Mm-hmm. And he came up with a new recipe. And he named his company Chobani. And in 3 years, he had 40% of the market. Yeah. Dyson, when he launched his vacuum cleaner, in 2 years had 49% of the market. It's an $8.2 billion revenue company with 14,000 employees, Dennis. I want to have at least 12,000 employees, replace every job that was pulled out of this community when GE left. And at so let's say I get 40% of a $9.3 billion industry, 9-ish, something like that. I think that's like $3.6 billion in revenue coming to this community. So if we build a plant here, right, and we've got the know-how, I don't have it, but we are a community.
Well, you know how
people.
To form relationships, and like having inter-org relationships, it creates not only that hyper-localized supply chain, but it also allows you to create almost like a SEAL team of companies.
Yes.
Right? You don't need the Navy ship. You don't need the Coast Guard. You need a SEAL team, special operators who understand this, who are niche, and you can, as you know, can reduce the costs significantly. I have 6 students from Roger Williams University under Dr. Minu Tarani, who's an international business person, and she's doing a supply chain analysis bit of work. She's the faculty lead. I'm the person at the Berkshire Innovation Center, and we're looking at supply chain and import-export into the Berkshires, right? And I'll share with you those results when they come out, because it'll be part of like what we do under the academic hood of the one of the engines, right, that are driving sort of the work that I do at the Innovation Center. But if you think about the hyper-localized nature and the specialty nature of the folks who are here, I can see why you're so excited. And it might be time, right? It might be time in your life path to double down on you, right? And your ideas.
It feels like it is.
Right.
I put this up 72 hours ago.
It's hard. I've
got 6,000 hits already on my site.
On that video you just put up.
Yes.
You just put up.
Yeah, it's probably up to 7,000 while we're talking.
Right? You just put it up.
Yeah.
You're not promoting it. You're not doing AdWords.
No, I didn't boost it. I didn't do anything.
Boost it. You just dropped it.
people have shared it like 28, 29 times already.
Could be a sign.
I know. I feel like it is, Dennis. But there's part of me
What
too.
are the difficult things, though, right? When you do for others, I'm going to make this as a statement, not a question.
Yeah.
Is that with empathy and with great receptivity, when that appears in someone's profile, psychological profile, even or observed through life experiences over time, right? Your narrative is your story over time. It's not just one like moment retold. That's a story. The narrative is your story over time. Collection of moments, significant moments. When you start to see competencies such as empathy and being open, right, which are all part of being receptive, and contextual awareness is the other. There's a third one in that bucket, if you will. So think of receptivity as a bucket. Think about it as having empathy as one sort of sub bucket. Contextual awareness and openness. When you have that and it informs you and you lead off of it, right? With developing people in banks and all the other work you've done, even as a consultant, it's really can be challenging to then do something that you believe might boost you above the people who are really kind of the source of the sensing.
Wow, man.
Right?
You are so insightful. Yeah, we keep going.
Yeah. It's because you've created these, well, they're not necessarily habit loops, but they're not just neural pathways, but they're routines and thinking that have reinforced positive outcomes. So you have like a social cue. I sense something in someone. I then have a routine. I respond by giving talent, skill, training, banking advisory, my financial acumen, and the reward is I helped an island under fire or a regionalized bank become a more major deposit holder of other people's monies and diversify portfolios, et cetera. So when you're thinking about this, I think that your thinking is going to be challenged, and I'm going to encourage you to think about how empathy informs and how it can help you, but that it might kind of hold you back a little bit because you're now placing yourself at the front of the ship or at the helm of the ship more technically and accurately in a visual, right? And even though you might have control, it's working with Robert, it's not working for, but ultimately people will be working for you, but with you. So I'm really interested in tuning into your story, right? And seeing how this unfolds. Boy, I'm excited, and I think the region will be really ripe for you to expand this idea into behaviors. And I'm going to get you to this part because I know that time is ticking on us. Wow, what a story so far, right? What a story so far, and there's much more to your narrative. I ask these three questions as we go to close up a conversation. And, I encourage people, don't try to answer them all at once. I'm going to say them, all three of them. I'm going to propose them, seed them, put them on the mental whiteboard in your head. And then I'll ask you one by one the questions again. And I think this is really helpful for stitching together what we've experienced together today, what we've created, and what other people can look forward to and how they might interpret how you think. So when you think about what you were raised for, that's one question. Okay. The second question is going to be, so I'm going to ask you what you were raised for in a minute again. The second question is, what do you want to be known for? And the third question is, what are you doing about it, now? Okay, so what do you think you were raised for?
To make a difference in the world.
How so?
I remember riding in the car with my mom, and she said, if you could be any organ in the body, what would you be? And I said, the heart. And she said, yeah, the heart's good. It pumps. You can even look at the chest and kind of see it beating. She said, I'd like to be the liver. She said, you can't see it. It's brown, She said it's hidden behind the ribs. She said at that time, she said you can do a heart transplant, but at that time they hadn't done any liver transplants. And she said it's unseen, but it makes everyone around them more healthy. And in that moment, I thought, I want to be the liver. And so this idea, the car seat, anything that I do, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be a memory at some point in the future, right? But I'm going to walk out of this room, and hopefully I'll see you again. I think we will, but I might not. So. But I want you to be left feeling better and affirmed. And I want this world, I was raised, I feel like I was born to make a positive difference in the world. And it drives me. It just drives me, Dennis. And
so that's what you were raised for, to be the liver.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have to be out front,
sensational liver. Okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
Make everybody better.
I got you.
Help them, you know?
And what do you want to be known for, given everything that you've shared today, given everything that you're thinking about? What do you want to be known for?
I want to be known for the one that helped someone believe they could do something that they were born to do, but they never thought they could. That's kind of like, it seems like what you do with your show a little bit, you know? And, but I want to help people achieve their dreams, to do the things to jump off that cliff, like my son talked me into doing it. That cool Vermont water, you know, felt awesome. I want to be known for helping people attain their dreams. I'm going to give you a couple, man. I want to be known for,
keep going, man,
for making people feel loved and to know they're loved. Yeah. They're loved by God. They're loved by me. I want them to feel that. I want them to know I care. I want to be known for loving people, you know?
That's great.
Yeah.
How's
that?
Three. Bernice King said, "Oh, I know how many."
Oh, okay, dude. I'm sorry.
I don't.
You're a PhD, man. I'm a public school educated
My real
dude,
PhD
man.
is my past having doubts, right, and running a business when I was younger. But we'll take
like
the PhD nod just the same.
Okay.
So Bernice King is known for not only being the daughter to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but is a good friend of mine. And I was talking to Chris before we were speaking to Bernice in preparation for some things that we were discussing about the NFL, and eventually turned into the hashtag #BeLove, right, on uniforms. And you can buy a sweatshirt at Bernice, you know, at the King Center down in online. You can buy them. My children have them, big black sweatshirts that in color, a full font says #BeLove. So I'm going to say, you should get that shirt for yourself.
I should.
Sweatshirt.
Yeah. I aspire to it anyway.
Yeah. And what are you doing about it now in particular that might be different, right? You want to be known for, to paraphrase, being love, right? All right. And to bringing love and to loving. What are you in particular doing about it now that's behavioral, that's specific, that's targeted, that you're inputting into your day, that you're imbuing into meetings, that you're sort of becoming more almost like the how I do things? Is there anything in particular specifically that you're doing differently so that you can be known for the one who brings love?
Yeah. Probably I'm going to answer this chronologically. So I wake up, and because I almost died in 2014 in a very horrific way.
Which was?
My colon ruptured, and I went septic, and I was hiking in the Shenandoah Mountains with my daughter on my back, and of course my kids wanted to race up this mountain, and so rather than just doing the trail, they start climbing the side of the mountain. I was battling diverticulitis at the time. I don't know if it just like pushed it over the edge or what. My colon ruptured that night, and the redhead I'm in love with, I didn't want to wake her up, and I'm used to pain. I used to kickbox in college, you know, and so I thought I just need to gut it out, you know, because as soon as I move, she's going to be up all night. So that allowed it to go lower GI and upper GI, and I'm supposed to be dead. Chances are 1 out of 100, you know, that I'm even alive.
That you'd live.
Yeah. Well, chances are 1 out of 100 and starting a manufacturing company. The Berkshires it's probably 1 in 10,000. So what I'm doing right now as a practice is I wake up and I lift my hands to heaven and I say, "This is the day you have made. I'll rejoice and be glad in it." Because in 2014, after this happened, and I came home after 6 days with a colostomy bag, I think they call it, and looked like alien abduction, and I'm like, "What the heck? I'm in my 40s, what's going on?" And I woke up in horrific pain, and I fell beside my bed and opened my Bible. You mentioned that earlier. And I opened it to a verse and said, "This day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." I thought, this is a cruel joke. How can God say this to me right now? Is there even,
Right.
But I thought, no, stop. He's always been good to me. And if I'm going through this, it's to make me stronger. So chronologically, what I'm doing today to stay in that attitude of love, I start by thanking him for every day. It's a gift.
Okay.
Open his word from the one who loves us more than anyone else, who stretches his hands out on a cross. And I taught him, let him pour his love into me. And then I pour it into my wife. We have a cup of coffee. My kids wake up. They're getting ready to school. There's so much hate and insecurity, and it comes out in the form of hate at school and everywhere else. I want them to leave knowing they're loved. So, give them a good pep talk, ready for the day. Wake them up. We have a good talk. Eat some breakfast together. Get them on their way. And then I come to work, and I try to breathe that love at work. I want to know what the needs of our members are. I want to know what the needs of my team is that I'm serving, and what are their goals and what are their needs today. I start off every call with, one of my employees said this to me the other day. He said, "Man, you start every call with the same way every time. How can I help you?" And so that's why I show love, is
totally
through
in service.
service.
Yeah, service.
Boom.
Yeah, service.
So that's what I'm doing
the answer.
today.
So.
And then I get home and I get in my car before I come home. And how I found this job is that practice I started when that dude I knew died of cancer. I thought I never want anybody to be hurting. I don't know about it. I get in the car and I say, "God, who you want me to call?" So, and then I call.
You have this dialogue a lot. It's really helpful for you.
What's that?
You have this dialogue.
Oh, they're calling people?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, every day. I've made thousands of calls. I just say, "How are you doing?" So show love on the way home.
You might have won a triple gold star with a 5-part answer to the third question, my man.
Okay. All right, man.
In the spirit of love. I love that answer.
Okay. Thank you.
One of the striking parts of this conversation for me is a reminder that, there's a spirit to people, a charism, right? And you can be a charismatic promoter of a way of being by the actions and the words that you use. Tony Dungy, who you had mentioned before, in my previous life, had spent quite a bit of time unpacking his narrative down at William James Stadium, and a really special interview, much in the spirit of this podcast, right? Much like that. Very long. Some of these interviews I've done with sports celebrities have gone, I think Pat Williams might have been over 6 hours, 3 cameras.
Wow.
And I was the founder of the Orlando Magic, who was at the 76ers before. But Tony Dungy and you are spiritually aligned, like in terms of your charism, right? It's you're different. The individuation is different, but Tony is a mentor, right? He's an uncommon mentor. He's got books out that are The Uncommon Marriage. You've been married for 38 years, very uncommon. 10 kids, very uncommon. And there's something about being a mentor and a teacher and a coach that are all pretty similar, right? If you're being a great teacher, you're probably a great mentor. If you're being a great mentor, you're probably a great coach. So I'm going to give you the title of Uncommon Inventor, Mentor, Teacher, Coach.
Oh, thank you.
Combine that as my way of saying I appreciate you.
Oh,
man.
I appreciate you, man.
The synthesis of your story. And there'll be other conversations. There will be more conversations. And the vault is a special place where you can take that pause, right? And you can have some fun by looking at those formative experiences and putting them up there, and then starting to see that connection of that exploration, that teachery spirit, that urge to surge forward, but it's driven by really good motivation, informed by empathy. When I think of you now, I'm not just going to think of the roller coaster car seat guy banker. That's who I'm going to think of. So thanks for being here today, Matt.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Every story matters. I'm convinced. And what matters to you matters to us and to the guests you just heard from. So please drop your insights, realizations, and takeaways in the comment section below. Give us a like, and also maybe even share with a friend or colleague or family member who could benefit from listening to this story. That's it for now. Dr. Dennis Rebelo signing off from my Story Vault.